Setting intentions by reflecting on your core values and then connecting that to daily habits helps to release what is no longer serving you and move your life in a positive direction. Joining me today is licensed psychotherapist Nanette. Welcome back to ciLiving.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love that you always bring us an activity, but first let's talk a little bit about resolutions, because I know by this point, as sort of we're kind of well into the year, a lot of people have let them fall by the wayside, which I know you don't personally love resolutions, so talk to me a little bit about that.
Okay, I don't personally love resolutions, but it's the traditional resolutions I don't love. I am a big fan of setting intentions.
Okay.
But intentions that are really authentically aligned. And then to focus more on the daily practices and habits that help move you in that direction and to release the ones that don't.
And I feel like with that, you don't have to necessarily have a big holiday or a big ceremonial moment or things like that. You can set an intention today. You can set it right now. You can set it a week from now, whenever you
Absolutely.
want, right?
It doesn't have to be tied to the beginning of the year. And you know, those resolutions usually are based on external expectations anyway. Mm-hmm. And that fosters a sense of self-judgment and comparison, and that's just not helpful.
Right. Whereas this is more of like a lifestyle change.
Absolutely.
So what is the activity to help us set intentions?
So we're going to be working with a metaphor of a tree.
Okay.
And each part of the tree is going to represent something, so I'll walk you through it.
Okay.
And the nice part is you don't even need to be able to draw, because I have a little trick.
That was my next question. What if I don't know how to draw a tree?
I got you covered.
Okay, great.
So we're going to trace our hand.
Like the hand turkeys at Thanksgiving. Yes. Okay.
But you're not going to close over the fingers, so leave the fingers open.
Oh, okay. So you're going to trace sort of from the bottom of your arm up and then leave by your fingers open. Oh, yep. My goodness.
You got a tree.
That's incredible. I feel like you can do this you could do this with kids. I feel like if you want to just teach them to draw trees.
It'd be great with trees, with kids. And then we're going to just like fill in a little bit the branches.
Okay, and you can do that by drawing little V's?
Yeah, just make little V's.
Okay.
And there's no right or wrong, because trees are all different shapes.
Okay. So this is our intention tree.
It's an intention tree.
Okay.
And then at the bottom, we're going to fill in roots. And same thing, just make little V's, and doesn't matter.
I like the roots because I feel like that's the whole point of this. This is going to be like a very grounding exercise.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So the roots are going to represent core values.
Okay.
Because we want all of our intentions to come out of our core values.
Okay.
Our core values are what root us.
Sure.
And so the first thing is we're going to identify a core value. And if you're doing this at home, I really invite you to take your time and think of a lot of them. But for our purposes, we're just going to think of one. And I know sometimes this can be a hard question for people.
Right.
But if you just think, what is the most important thing to me?
Okay.
What do I want to be remembered for? What do I want my life to be about?
Right.
Or who do I really admire, and why? What qualities do they embody that I really admire?
Oh, I like that. Okay.
So for me, one of my core values...
I was going to say, you have pen all over your fingers.
For me, one of my core values is connection.
Okay.
So we're going to write in the roots.
The roots, okay.
I'm going to write connection.
Okay. I'm going to write authenticity.
Okay.
Because that is one of mine. All right, authenticity.
Perfect.
Connection, perfect.
And then we're going to jump up to the top, and we're going to think, what do we want to grow?
Okay.
What intention do we want to create out of that core value? And this is going to be the new leaves that are growing out of the tree, what we want to grow.
Okay.
So, for example, based out of connection, an intention I'd like to set to grow is to deepen my relationships with my friends and family and to build new friendships. So we're going to make little leaves.
Okay. And these are leaf Post-its. You can draw leaves.
Yes.
You can, if you don't want to draw leaves, you can even just do this on Post-its, right?
Regular Post-its would work great. These are cute, but they don't stick very well.
These are adorable.
So regular
That's why we have the tape.
Yeah. Okay, so build new friendships.
Okay. I'm trying to think for authenticity. What do I want to do with that? I think just continue doing things that feel organic and feel like sort of gut instinct. For me, authenticity is about sort of following your gut and following the path. So follow your instincts. I hope you are doing this at home. This is a really fun activity. I'm having so much fun, and it really makes you think.
It makes you think. It brings out the child in you, and you get messy. At least I do.
Right. I was going to say, craft time is always a little bit messy.
Okay, so I put my leaves that I want to
relationship.
grow.
All right, follow instincts.
So then we go to the trunk of the tree and the branches of the tree. These are the core of the tree, and so that represents the daily habits, the practices that support us towards growing these leaves.
And this is what we talked about at the beginning, kind of like a lifestyle change. So moving in a very positive direction.
Exactly. So for me, to build new friendships, to deepen my relationships, some habits or practices that would serve that would be maybe joining a community group or a class, scheduling weekly coffee dates, practicing active listening.
All three of those things are perfect. So you write those as part of your...
in my trunk or in the branches.
In your trunk or in your branches. Well, this is wonderful. Thank you so much, Nanette, for bringing this and showing us how to do this. So you can definitely try this activity at home. You can make the leaves out of anything you want. You can use any kind of paper that you have at home, and you don't have to be able to draw a tree. All you have to be able to do is have your hand, and then you can be all messy like Nanette. Thank you so much for bringing this to us. And if you want more information, you can visit us on the web at ciLiving.tv.